Hi everyone, hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just going over to XRP. Once again, thank you for support. Okay, big of the CoinsKid crew. So for many years right now, I have been showing you my analysis on the S&P 500, including the Bitcoin videos and the XRP videos, as confluence to my analysis of a potential blow off top this year for the the risk environment. So the reason I show this particular chart, because it is the king of risk basically. So if we're looking for XRP to be bullish or Bitcoin to be bullish or whatever, the risk on environment has to be bullish. And a lot of people in this big massive horrible correction is it coming down again. I did relay to you the overlapping corrective waves right there, got really bearish right at the sweet spot of the bottom basically in October November of 2022, which was the bottom of the 5 waves of death for Bitcoin. So right in the sweet spot, the ABCDE, I said to you, I think that's the bottom, come back up to resistance, hold a high level support, break out, back test the resistance, just like the Bitcoin chart, when it broke out in January right there, and boom, we've been coming up ever since. So it got a little bit squeaky bum time, but this level here, this left shoulder, this huge edge coming up into this resistance. I remember when this was taking off from the beautiful buy and go to the beach signal, I did anticipate a wave 3 rejection at that trend line just there to come back in and create this inverse head and shoulders pattern. So this came back down, and I remember there's a guy at the time, everyone got really bearish, and there's an analyst called Alessio Restani, which I've referred you to his work before. He got bearish and he called for a bear market on the S&P 500, and a lot of you were worried at that, and I did say to you, the data suggests that it's wrong. Obviously it could be right, but in looking at the validation of his bear market call, we need to see this come back up, make lower highs, and then drop and lose a pivot low from which it's come, because this wave 4 retracement held the wave 1 high like an absolute boss. In fact, on the actual day, I think it was on the Friday, on the hourly time frame, I'd found an hourly bullish divergence for you and said that this is the absolute sweet spot. It's something like a 0.1% loss for a huge all-time high trade on the S&P 500, and it played out like an absolute boss. Okay, so we've had the all-time high, we've absolutely bolted it, made the all-time high, been coming up since October of last year, been coming up the vertical. So right now this is looking very much like a blow off top, which is what I anticipated in this final 5th wave. So with that, and there's no bias here, we need to see this being bullish if we expect XRP to eventually play catch up to the all-time high here, the all-time high in Bitcoin, and then boom, the all-time high for XRP basically. So we need to see this chart remaining bullish. If it breaks down, then my theory that XRP will make an all-time high in this blow-off top of risk is completely off the table. So this is why I keep an eye on this. So again, there's no bias, but I think in this process of this bottoming process, we have created an inverse head and shoulders pattern. So the technical target is that white line for me at the moment, the wave 5 end just there at 5865. Is there any other confluence to that particular analysis? Well, at the moment, from the bottom of the wave 4 correction, the bottom way back there in, I think it was October in 2022, sorry, and then start to come up impulsively. Well, basically, we took out the 1 fib just there, the all-time high. So right now, we've tapped the 1.272 like a boss at 5256. So in a minute, if we find a high level support and start to come back, that's my target, and it's bang on the confluence of the 1618, which is basically the inverse head and shoulders pattern here, the breakout in the neckline, boom, 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 boom. So it looks at the moment we are in a technical target to that particular level, the 1.618. How will it be invalidated? Really simple. We start to roll here, make series of lower highs, lower lows, lose the 20-week EMA on the S&P 500, break down below the 1 fib at 4818. Then yeah, we begin to invalidate this, the blow off top right now. And we could say that was it, but I'm going to give risk the benefit of the doubt. We've got the perfect little play, the perfect little setup within the charts, the breaking down of the DXY, which you see at the moment, and this potential target at the S&P 500. So I'm going to remain cautiously bullish. The XRP is about to play catch up eventually. It's been a very long time, but the clues are within this chart within itself. This is why I do keep you updated on the S&P 500, and been looking at this for a very long time. Let me dive into the DXY right now to show you equally the confluence of the fact that we may be in the blow off top phase right here for the crypto and risk environment, especially for XRP. So taking a look at the DXY, and at the moment we sort of ran into this brick wall for the DXY, and I think there's possibly some kind of ABC back up to this leg here. So if I'm correct, and this is part of a bigger micro ABC back down to where you came from way back there in 2021, then we've got another leg here, we've got another leg missing, and this is part of the confluence and analysis that I think that as the inverse correlation plays out, we've got a drop in the DXY and a pop in risk basically, and a vertical and some kind of end game here, just like this was just there. So this was an end game way back there. I think it was for XRP, wasn't it, the top January, as this bottomed in this huge ABC correction. Look at that. So this is a macro version. I think that this is why we've not seen the vertical in XRP at the moment, because this is what leads to it, this sort of end game, this C wave coming down of an ABC correction for the DXY to come back to where it came from basically. So I think that we've got a clue in what's happened before, as to what we should expect to happen again. So as this thing starts to bottom down here, and again, this is all theory based, but at the moment I think we've got some kind of A wave down, the B wave high, and right now you're in a C leg. So in theory, what we should be looking at is a drop in the DXY and a pop in XRP. So it's right on point that if you take a look at this, we came up, went sideways, and as this C wave started to drop here, we put in that huge vertical for XRP to the upside, okay? So the A, B, C, and the end game, the C wave, the big drop towards the end of the correction for the DXY, parabola, ABC correction coming back, is this sort of C wave reared its ugly head. This is when XRP put the highs in, and the bull run ended right there on song with the bottom of the DXY, with a bullish divergence on the weekly as well. And this is what we do not have here. We don't have any kind of bullish divergence. So at the minute, on the micro, on the 4 hour, on the daily, we do have a broadening, ascending bearish wedge that's began to break down here for the DXY. So at the moment, what we may have is some kind of signal right now that was the bottom last week for XRP and the bottom for Bitcoin. And what we're doing, really simply, we're coming up the stairs, we're retracing to where we come from, looking to hold the low to confirm the bottom, and boom, we break to the upside. And this is it. This is your drop in the DXY, where we look for a bullish divergence on the weekly, which is what we've seen here, and equally here as well, which indicated the top of a run for XRP there and the top of a run for XRP there. And we don't necessarily see it just yet for the DXY. So this is, part of my analysis of confidence, the fact that, I'll feel more confident about calling the top for Bitcoin and XRP once we see the bullish divergence playing out. So this is why, if you take a look at the CKR on CoinsKid.com, there is a DXY indicator, because this is where, at this point here, it hit 100 and it hit 100 there as well, because this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for it to get to 100 to indicate the top of an impulsive move, and I don't quite see it yet in a DXY. So again, there's no bias. If this holds support and starts to break up, then you would anticipate that XRP is breaking down at that point, because the inverse correlation is still playing out. But I think what we've come down, we're compressing, we come up, we're compressing. So the trend, you can see it clearly. You've had this parabolic meteoric rise for the DXY. It's broke down, it's compressing the range, looking for continuation. You've had this huge move up for XRP. It's compressing, looking for continuation. So the clues will be, if this breaks up, this will break down. Really simple. If this breaks down, this will break up. So we'll keep an eye on it. It's getting really compressed in either direction for both charts. So it breaks down, super bullish for Bitcoin, XRP, breaks up, super bearish for XRP. So we'll keep an eye on it as best I can. But at the minute, there's a bearish pattern. It's breaking down. It looks like it's going to fall to the ground here. Sweep this low, sweep this low. Wow, this is going in the opposite direction. Let's dive into the XRP chart right now and see what we can see. So taking a look at XRP on the 4 hourly time frame, at the moment, we got rejected on the 200 EMA on the 4 hourly time frame. And this is why I did jump into a short, but yesterday I did close it out. And again, I could always shoot myself when I close longs and shorts out too early and I see it continuing. You sat there thinking, oh my God, how much money could I have made and things like that. But you can't beat yourself up, because at the end of the day, I closed out the short because of data. And I remember opening this short and everyone was saying, you're an idiot, you know what you're talking about. But so far so good. That particular short is playing out like an absolute boss, isn't it? So again, I could absolutely shoot myself. But what we've got here is a potential scenario. Was a little flag pattern coming back. This is why I did, was inclined to close my short. And at that point, with the volatility of the breakdown in the DXY and equally the XR H bar chart, that's absolutely bolted off exactly the same bottoming pattern right there, I decided to close out the short. Really simple. But let's just respect the price action it's done before and just take a look as a sneak peek to see what we can anticipate right here. So if we take a look at this wick low, so we had this huge flush to the downside, and this is confidence I was showing you, the rejection off the 4 hour 200 EMA. Again here we've got this big flash to the downside, slowly but surely, eventually rejection of 4 hour 200 EMA. This big flash to the downside, rejection of the 4 hour 200 EMA. So this is why I did, open that short right there with confidence of the price action, what it does before. The 200 EMA is a strong rejection point. So from this point right now, what's it doing? So for me, I do think, looking at the big macro move here and the alignment of the DXY, the S&P 500, Bitcoin, and many other things, I'm looking at the fact that this is actually bullish price structure. Although it's horrible, what we've got is a 1 into a 2 into a 3 into a flat 4 here, and then a 5, a final fifth wave, and a lead-in diagonal from January of 2021. So I think that what we've got is basically an impulsive wave 1, and this is a flat, some kind of flagging, overlapping corrective wave 2. It's all overlapping corrective waves. So what I'm looking at right now is the fact that all of this, every time it comes down into this zone, it's just a buying opportunity. Big boy bounce, big boy bounce, big boy bounce. So the big question is this the bottom? Well, there is an absolute possibility it is, but I think if we do start to come down again, I'm a buyer, not a crier here for XRP, and it can come down as deep as it likes, and I will actually be buying XRP, okay? Because I think what we've got is basically a 1 into a 2. This is a macro 1 into a 2. So I think we're missing a third wave, and the overlapping corrective waves are giving the game away. It's flagging, isn't it? It's sort of coming back, like it's getting really compressed, really tight. It's looking for a big move to the upside, just like this did. You've got a beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 overlapping corrective waves. Oh no, it's going to 0, but eventually it come up and it put in a third wave. So this is what we're looking for. We're looking for the big third wave, the big vertical. And as I've shown you earlier in the video with the DXY, typically the third wave, the big impulsive cycle wave that comes for XRP, is in the final leg and the breakdown of the ABC correction for the DXY. So I'll remain cautiously bullish here for XRP. I'll try and find some bid zones, but at the moment just got to kick back, relax, look for some kind of structure here and see what it does, because obviously this could be an ABC before 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down the stairs. And if it is, wow, you know, we've got 5 waves of death here and we're looking for a beautiful little you know, buyback zone. And at this point, whenever we take this white line out, I think we've got a clue of a bumper and run reversal, and I've gone through this with you. So at a minute, just kicking back, relax, just wait for some kind of structure to play out here on XRP. I wouldn't necessarily sell into all this fear, you know, that we're going through right now, because we do have confidence in many of the charts that we are looking at a potential third vertical wave here after this long sort of drawn out correction that we've been going through since July of last year. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, flat 4 into a 5, some kind of macro ABC correction right here, shaking people out. But every time it comes down into this zone, it's getting bought up, So we're looking for a beautiful little buying spot down here for XRP going forward. Hope you understand the update. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. I'm a buyer, not a crier. Take care, everyone. Back to another update on XRP. Bye bye.